What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is the final installment in the Venom series starring Tom Hardy, Venom: The Last Dance. Directed by Kelly Marcel, which I just found out that she not only directed the first two films alongside other directors and wrote it alongside Tom Hardy, that this is her first full-length feature film that she's directing. So that kind of makes a lot more sense as you hear me talk about the movie and whenever you go see the movie, why the movie was the way it was. Of course, you have Tom Hardy, who plays Eddie Brock, and then you have Peggy Lou, who returns as Mrs. Chen. You have Juno Temple, Chiwetel Ejiofor, and so many others in this movie. So we're really gonna get to business here. So the basic plot is that Venom and Eddie, they have this buddy cop thing going on, which makes all of the films really good because it's just so funny. Their chemistry is great.
This is all the money that we have.
What is this feeling? It's like
This feeling?
It's like all of my problems have gone away.
We have them here, and they are running away from the government, one, because they were framed for killing a certain person in the previous film, and two, they are also on the run from someone who is the big bad in this movie that was shown in the trailers, one of the last trailers, which is Null. I am not that familiar with Null. I actually learned about Null because I was playing a game called Marvel Snap, and Anthony had told me about Null, and that's one of his favorite villains of all time. I did a little bit more research as I was playing the game because he is just OP in this game. It's kind of crazy. I did some more research on him, and geez, he is a monster. Like, Null is so powerful. He's like the god of darkness, the king in black. Like, he is just ridiculously powerful. I saw that he was the big bad. I was like, oh shit, well, here we go. But on the flip side of that, this is the last movie in this timeline of movies for Venom, so it's like, okay, we're bringing in this next level big bad who is a nuclear type threat, like another Thanos or a Galactus, you know, or a Dormammu. Worse than them, to be honest with you. The reason that Eddie and Venom are on the run from Null is because Null is actually the creator of all the symbiotes, and he is unfortunately trapped in this void of darkness, and there's one thing that can get him out of there. So Null sends some enforcers to try and find this one thing that can help him escape. Null is in essence the first being who existed in the void of nothingness. His existence in essence predates the Marvel universe as it stands. Throughout the film, we have this looming threat of Null and his enforcers that are trying to find this thing that can release Null from his prison. Along the way, there are various characters that we get involved with that we don't necessarily need to. There are times that we took detours through this movie that, while it was funny and the crowd is very engaged, the overall aspect of the movie didn't really get much substance from those characters being involved or from us panning to those characters and focusing on them through various times in this movie. Just to kind of go back and talk about Null a little bit, the Donny Cates Venom series, especially the King in Black event, is something to look into when going to see this movie, or maybe if you see the movie and then afterwards you can read up on it if you'd like, because especially in the King on Black event, the X-Men and the Avengers are involved in that. So that should kind of give you an idea as to how serious this villain is. Overall, the movie was not terrible. It just did not portray what I thought it would for it being the last dance, for the final movie in this series of movies. Personally, it kind of felt a little bit separate from the first two Venom movies, and yeah, there were some things that kind of connected to the previous movies, but overall it kind of just felt like it was his own thing. And by the end of the film, a lot of us were kind of just like, okay, so that was supposed to be the last dance, but why do we feel so empty, or why do we feel like there should have been more? Because they definitely should have been more. There were things that should have been done a little bit better. The action was absolutely phenomenal. The acting was pretty good. There were times where it was a little off or a little cheesy or just kind of not needed. In essence, like I said about some characters, there were some that just weren't needed. And furthermore, the story was kind of lackluster. Like, yes, I enjoy the idea of knowing that Null, the creator of the symbiotes, is involved and he is trying to get out of his prison, but it just did not really feel like a fulfilling film, and it just seemed like this looming threat was just there. Even then, the sense of stakes kind of didn't really seem like stakes. Another thing about this film, which is something a little bit more positive, is just the utilization of some characters, and also that is a negative as well, because the utilization of characters was decent, and I liked what they incorporated. Negative side of that is the fact that they brought in these characters, and then what happens? It just kind of sort of seemed like a lot of things were thrown in there just for the hell of throwing them in there, and I didn't really vibe with how the story went in certain areas, because it could have went better if various characters weren't really involved and then we fixated more on the characters that fans really wanted to see. Overall, I had a decent fun time with the film. You know, Tom Hardy does a great job as Eddie Brock, so it was a good time in the theater. Thank you all so much for stopping by the channel. I really appreciate it. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, please hit that like button. Wait, what? If you aren't subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and the bell next to it so you can get a notification anytime there's a new video. Thanks again for watching, guys. Until the next one.